You are lying in bed at 6:58 a.m. when the notification hits. Not one. 43 stacked on top of each other like a wave that hasn't finished breaking. You don't read the first one closely. You don't need to. The subject line does the work. Q3 compensation review. All staff. Attached, a spreadsheet. Every name in your department, next to each one, a number nobody asked to see. Yours reads $54,212. You sit up. You read it again the way you read a text that doesn't make sense the first time, hoping the second read changes the words. It doesn't. HR sent the wrong file to the wrong list. 41 people. Every salary, every raise. You've quietly wondered if you deserved sitting in 41 inboxes before you've brushed your teeth. You say nothing out loud. There's no one in the room to say it to. But your chest tightens in a way you don't have a name for, something between exposure and vertigo. The number that has lived only in your head for 3 years is now, this morning, a fact other people hold. And you understand before your feet touch the floor that today is going to be a different kind of day. The first person to know is the one who says nothing. Marcus is already in the kitchen. He glances at you the way he always does, but there's a half-second delay in it now, a flicker you've never seen on his face before. He checked his phone before you did. He knows the number. He's choosing, this morning, to say nothing about it. That silence is louder than anything he could have said. The second person to know says everything. By the time you reach the office, Priya from accounts has already replied all with a laughing emoji and the words, "Well, this is awkward." 15 replies sit under it, half of them just other people's names. Tagged, summoned into the humiliation. You walk to your desk with your eyes forward. The specific forward walking of someone who knows they're being watched and is pretending not to know it. Nobody says the number to your face, that would be too direct. Instead, they say things around it. Didn't realize you'd been here that long. Guess seniority pays off. Every sentence is really just the number translated into small talk. Leon Festinger's social comparison theory, formalized in 1954, argued that people evaluate their own standing almost entirely through comparison to others. A room with a shared data point starts silently ranking itself against it, whether it means to or not. You watch it happen in real time. Someone who makes more than you warms up slightly, the warmth of a person confirming their own position. Someone who makes less cools slightly, distant in a way they'd deny if asked. By 11 a.m., you've been complimented, needled, and quietly avoided, sometimes by the same person in the same conversation. The third person to know changes how they ask you for things. Devin texts at lunch. Devin, who has asked you for money exactly twice in 4 years and looked sick both times. Today the message arrives easy, almost cheerful. Random Q, could you spot me for the deposit on the new place? Get you back next month, LOL. No mention of the leak. No need to mention it. You read it twice anyway. You say yes. You always say yes, but something about typing the word feels different this time, like the yes has been quietly repriced. The fourth person to know is your mother. This is the one that actually lands. She calls at 6. Her voice has a brightness you know too well. The brightness of someone who's done math and doesn't want you to hear it. Your cousin's having trouble with rent, she says, halfway through a sentence about something else. That's the whole ask. She doesn't need to finish it. You sit on the edge of the bed a long time after the call ends. Not angry. Just aware for the first time that the version of you who was simply his own business doesn't exist in this house anymore. Not to her. Maybe not to anyone. The fifth person to know is someone you just met. Her name is Elena. Third date tonight, the one where conversation usually drifts toward real things. Families, old relationships, the shape of a life someone might want to be part of. You're mid-sentence about your sister when she says it casually, like it's already common knowledge. I saw the whole department thing. That's rough. You go quiet a second too long. She's not being unkind. But you feel the shift anyway. The same flicker Marcus had that first morning, aimed now at someone still deciding whether she wants to know you at all. She asks lightly, "Does it bother you that people know?" You could give her the honest answer, that it bothers you less that people know the number, and more that you can no longer tell which parts of how they treat you are about you, and which parts are about the number standing quietly behind you in the room. Instead, you say, "It's fine. Weird timing." She smiles like she believes you. Walking her to her car, she brings it up once more. Not the number, but the truth underneath it. "For what it's worth, I already knew you made a normal amount before any of this. It's not why I said yes to a third date." It's kind. You want it to land the way she means it. But some tired part of you notices that even the reassurance is proof the number is in the room now, whether either of you invited it there or not. You kiss her goodnight. It's a good kiss. You still drive home thinking about the spreadsheet. The sixth person to know is you. This is the part nobody warns you about. You hesitate before ordering the second drink at happy hour. You catch yourself justifying a $40 pair of headphones to a group chat that never asked. Nobody is pressuring you. Nobody has to. You are performing now for an audience that exists whether it's watching or not. You didn't used to check the group chat before making a purchase. Now you do. You don't clock the moment it started. You just notice one Thursday that it already has. The seventh thing is the twist. 3 days in, you find out the leak wasn't an accident. A junior HR coordinator forwarded the file to the wrong list on purpose. Not to humiliate anyone, she says. She'd overheard someone joking that half the team was underpaid and too polite to say so. She thought visibility would fix what silence had let calcify for years. She wasn't entirely wrong. 2 people get quiet, overdue raises within the month, raises that never would have happened without the spreadsheet forcing the room into daylight. You don't feel like a winner in that story. You feel like a data point in someone else's experiment about fairness. One you never signed up for. The climax is a Thursday, not a confrontation, a choice. 3 weeks in, your manager calls you into a small room with the door closed, the kind of room that only ever means one of 2 things. She tells you the company is offering market adjustments to a handful of people whose numbers, now public, look uncomfortable next to their titles. Yours is one of them. A real raise. The kind you'd have negotiated for if you'd ever had the nerve to name a number first. Here's the part that catches you off guard. It doesn't feel like winning. It feels like being paid to make an accident look like justice. You could take it quietly and let the spreadsheet become the best thing that ever happened to your bank account. Or you could say what you actually think, that a fix built on 41 people's stolen privacy isn't a fix. It's a liability wearing a good outcome as a disguise. You sit with it for a second. Then you say yes to the raise, and you say one more thing. That HR should tell the coordinator the leak worked this time, but it can't become policy. Fix pay because it's broken, not because a mistake made it visible. Your manager looks at you a beat too long, like she wasn't expecting that answer. Then she nods and writes something down. The 8th thing you understand arrives on an ordinary Tuesday. The group chat has stopped joking about it. Marcus doesn't flicker anymore. Priya's message has scrolled so far up the thread, it might as well not exist. The number is still known. It hasn't been erased. But its power has quietly drained out of it, the way any secret loses its charge the moment it stops being new. What frightened you most that first morning wasn't the number. It was the exposure. The sense that something private had become public property overnight. What you learn, slowly, without ceremony, is that exposure has a half-life. Festinger's mechanism never needed your number specifically. It just needed a number. Now it has moved on to someone else's. The 9th thing is the one that stays with you. Months later, at a different dinner table, someone brings up a coworker's salary leaking at another company. A story making the rounds online. The table has opinions, the way tables always do. Someone says transparency would fix half the unfairness in the workplace overnight. Someone else says people have a right to privacy about something this personal. You say nothing for a moment, turning your glass slowly, thinking about $54,212, and the version of you that closed his eyes that first morning, wishing the number would just quietly disappear back into the place numbers are supposed to live, unseen, unranked, uncompared. Here's the thing nobody tells you until it happens to you. The number was never the real problem. The problem was what people did with it once they had it. The small recalibrations, the questions that got easier to ask, the silences that got heavier to sit in. You didn't become a different person the day the spreadsheet leaked. You became a mirror. And everyone around you, for a strange few months, used you to check their own reflection. You still worked the same job, adjusted now for the raise that came quietly, the kind that arrives without announcement, the kind you once thought only happened to other people. Marcus doesn't flicker in the kitchen anymore. Devin paid you back eventually, without you having to ask. You and Elena are still figuring out what you are, but every so often, late at night, you think about that first version of the number, private, unweighed by anyone else's expectations. And you understand finally what the silence had actually been protecting all along. No shame, not secrecy, just the ordinary right to be a number nobody else gets to use.